so many people have this reaction that basic income is sort of socialism. You hear it, on Fox News. It's certainly in this country, in the United States, there's a big distrust of socialism and communism, and I think that goes back also to the history of the United States with the McCarthy era, which originally, was against Nazis and National Socialists, but then became against all kinds of this, and people lost their jobs. And the original deplatforming, you could say, was of leftists, probably for a few decades. COINTELPRO was another thing, and of course, people felt that was for national security. They felt that even labor movements, at some point, I think, could be considered dangerous because they were anathema to the rugged capitalism and the entrepreneurial spirit of America. But at the same time, what I see, at least, in 21st century, is that many of these things help the entrepreneurial spirit. Many safety nets help people to take risks. So, for example, if you have bankruptcy protection, right? In the worst case, the individual who used to go to debtor's prison and had to, maybe sell themselves into indentured servitude to pay off a debt, now has the option of simply declaring bankruptcy and walking away. And this is a protection that has helped people to take risks in their life. Another one is limited liability companies, corporations that are insulated from personal debt if they're, not commingling their funds with the personal. People can start companies, and I think that's actually why the United States has more entrepreneurs here than Europe and other places where people have unlimited sort of responsibility in some cases to others if they take on a risk, like starting a company, and so I'm not here to necessarily argue which employee protections are better or this and that, but I think safety nets seem to be helpful to a lot of free association and working on open source projects, working on science, things that the market wouldn't immediately reward. And so these things are complementary to what the traditionally would have to happen, which is you have a rich uncle or you have a VC or you went to Harvard and you know people and they can invest in your business. That's great. But if you don't have that, imagine how many entrepreneurs could come from, for example, the Midwest or a lot of these Rust Belt towns, which we're going to talk about capital leaving these towns. But of course, if everyone had a sort of a safety net where they didn't have to worry anymore about the day-to-day things, it would happen. Last thing I just want to ask you is also the capitalists, in fact, the venture capitalists, seem to see the new technology coming down the pipe. You see artificial intelligence that Elon Musk warns about all the time. You see computers making people more efficient. Our efficiency has gone up I think it's 4 times, but you can correct me, since 1950. So what happened is that in the past, people were less efficient and only one person out of the family worked, the breadwinner. And so, one person could use one paycheck to pay for the whole thing. Now, not only are people more efficient, you need less people. Everyone works in the family. And so essentially what's happening is that that also helps the wages to get depressed. And so essentially everyone's in a race to the bottom for human labor. And I think these capitalists, I just want to name them, like not just Elon Musk. You got Sam Altman from Y Combinator. He started for a brief moment the America Fund, the dividend. You got Andrew Yang. You've got the Mayors for Guaranteed Income. You've got tons of billionaires who all support universal basic income, and they're all capitalists. So clearly they see that there's a need for it. So does UBI actually help capitalism, or is it mostly socialist? What would you say?
Yeah, no, that was a lot of good stuff. Try to remember all these threads. I would start with that. Socialism is focused on the means of production, and communism